Season 2, Episode 31 of the Bulls REKAP Podcast. I'm Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You could obviously read me in the Chicago Sun-Times sports section. You could follow me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at @JCowleyHoops. Yes, I am on break. I look like a man on break. Some may say I look a little homeless. That's fine. So today, about 2 months ago, the beat writers were sitting back in the media room, and I remember it was Will Gottlieb and Julia Poe from the Tribune, and we were just talking about what do we think the Bulls are going to look like next year. And for some reason, it got in my mind, and it hasn't gotten out of my mind since. I just have a feeling that they are going to win number 4 in the draft lottery. Don't know why. Don't believe in being a psychic. Don't believe in premonitions. Just believe in kind of feelings. And for some reason, I feel like the Bulls are going to be number 4. So with that in mind, I did a mock draft. It's kind of a fantasy mock draft, as I believe someone released a mock draft last week and had them the Bulls winning number 1 and taking AJ DeBonsa. Don't remember who it was. Kevin O'Connor. I don't even remember who it is. There's so many mock drafts out there. So I decided, based on this idea that stuck in my head that the Bulls are number 4, what would rest of the draft look like? And I'm going to go to 15, where the Bulls will be making their second pick, and then we'll end it there. But so, yeah, this is what I wanted to do, and this is what I had the feeling. So I'm going to start it off with the first pick. We're only going to do that with the first pick in the Bulls picks. Washington Wizards get the number 1 pick in this scenario, and they take AJ DeBonsa, BYU. Now listen to this starting 5, projected starting 5. Trae Young, don't love him, but Trae Young, I mean, he is a all-NBA player. He is a all-star. Either Trey Johnson or Keyshawn George. It'd probably be George. I think he had a little better season, but Trey Johnson, the top 5 pick from this last year draft. DeBonsa as the small forward. AD, Anthony Davis, it's easy to forget where he is. He is there as the 4. Alex Sarr, who made some big strides this year, as the 5. And then you have a bench with Riley, Bub Carrington, and then whoever doesn't start between George and Johnson. That's a playoff team, people. Washington can flip this thing quickly. Congratulations. This was the plan for them. 25, 26, tank. And then obviously they made the big trades. I don't love the big trades, Anthony Davis and Trae Young, but they're great bridge guys to kind of passing this thing off to this young group. So that's a playoff team if everyone stays healthy. And that's a big if with AD and even Trae Young. Second pick, Brooklyn. They got no choice. You got to chase the talent, and that means you got to chase Darren Peterson. I do not envy them with this pick. I do not love the idea of a college guy who was load managing and there was a weirdness around it. Whatever. You got Igor Demin, who's shown to be a player. Drake Powell, good athlete. You know, he's a rotation guy on a good team, on a playoff team. And, you know, who knows what they'll do in free agency. And Peterson. I mean, that's who could be the most talented guy in this draft, hands down. If you remember, last year I was raving about Peterson because he had gone into Carlos Boozer's high school and AJ DeBonsa's high school as a senior and kicked their ass. So talent-wise, he could be the best. Number 3, Indiana. Boozer time from Duke with the number 3 pick. Boozer, Duke. Listen to this starting 5. Halliburton's back. You could either go Nembhard or Naismith, either one. One of them comes off the bench. Both of them just ridiculous defensive-minded guys, two-way players. Siakam moves to the 3. You got Boozer and Zubac, who they acquired during the season with next year in mind. Smart front office work by them. If everyone comes back healthy, that is not only a playoff team, that was a team that, if you remember, was in the NBA Finals last year, minus Mr. Boozer. So 2 teams could quickly turn this thing around. Bulls, with the number 4 overall pick in my mind, Caleb Wilson, North Carolina. Listen to this front court. This is before free agency. Modest moves to the 3. Jalen Smith, 4-5, interchangeable. Wilson, 4 or 5. Don't know what he's going to be at in the NBA right now. Probably start him as a 4. I don't know if he's ready for some physicality with the 5. Let Jalen Smith, the vet, kind of deal with that. But that's without free agency, adding guys, and without pick number 15, which they have from Portland. Love that, because now Modest is your 3. You got rim protection with Caleb Wilson and Modest. It just gives you, and then, with the most cap money in the NBA basically this offseason, then you could just add pieces there. Mathurin, if you're looking for a 2 guard, I believe he's restricted, and I don't know if they'll be able to afford him. So possibilities are endless, but in this scenario, okay, Utah Jazz, number 5, Darius Acuff, Arkansas. Love him. Listen to this starting 5. Keontae George, Acuff, both of them are combo guards. You can play them either way. Ace Bailey moves to the 3. Lauri Markkanen is your 4. Jaren Jackson Jr., who they acquired from Memphis, with this idea of this is our last year we want to be in the lottery, and then we're going to bump out. A little tougher to become a playoff team in the West with that starting 5, but that's a pretty damn good starting 5. You got Ace Bailey and Acuff as your future, and you got your present with Markkanen and Jaren Jackson. I think they may lose Kessler, so maybe to the Bulls. You never know. But I have a feeling Kessler will be on the move, but we'll see. Sacramento, number 6. Zach LaVine's already coming back. Your defense is a problem. Kingston Fleming's Houston. You now have a backcourt guy who is a defensive-minded first point guard but has offensive upside. His shot's a little wanky. I don't love his form shooting. That could be fixed. But you got to get someone to play alongside Zach LaVine and have a defensive mindset. Boom. We've seen when you have Ball and Caruso and you put them next to Zach LaVine like the Bulls did in their last playoff run, things work. I think that's what they have to do. Memphis, number 7. Keaton Wagler, Illinois. This team was the 8th or 9th worst shooting three-point team in the league. John Morant, by all counts, will still be a Grizzly according to them. We'll see this summer, but you need shooting. And I think Wagler could be he's not Con Knipple, but he can shoot it. He can stroke it. And that's a good fit for him. Number 8, Atlanta. I mean, look, you're in the playoffs right now. You're battling the Knicks, and you have a top 10 pick. Things look up for the Hawks. Mikal Brown Jr. Again, you have just a guy who had a sore back the last couple months, so it was tough to evaluate him. But at his best, 6'5", pure point guard, great passer, gets a little circusy sometimes, gets a little LaMelo Ball at times for me, a little out of control. Turnovers are a concern. His range, 30 feet. I mean, look, there's some things that are really, he's got to be in a disciplined system. He's got to kind of change his game. Louisville, obviously, is not the most disciplined system. But, I mean, he might be the best of that run of guards from Acuff, Flemings, Wagler, and then him. I mean, those guys are all interchangeable. Mikal Brown Jr., I mean, just because of his positional size and his shooting range and the way he sees the floor, he's just got to be cleaner. Just too much LaMelo goofery. Number 9, Dallas. Obviously, they hit it out of the park with Cooper Kupp, your rookie of the year. Braden Burry's Arizona. Comes in with a two-way mentality. Cooper Flagg has a two-way mentality. They're building something special in Dallas. Have to be excited about that. Milwaukee, this one's tough because I don't love Nate Ament from Tennessee. But he was a top 5, top 6 pick at the beginning of the year, and his stock has slipped. Then it went up a little bit more because he was – but when you're Milwaukee, you have to go best available at this point. Because to me, LeBaron Phelan, you can kick that around. Yaxel Lenneberg, you could kick that around. But to me, Nate Ament just kind of fits that Milwaukee long athletic mentality. So I'm going to go Nate Ament there. Don't love it. He could slide. He could be a guy that slides out of the lottery completely. Depends how teams feel with him. Depends how he works out privately. Golden State, mentioned this guy, LeBaron Phelan from Alabama. Score, just a flat-out score. Can shoot it, can attack, like him. You get to put him next to Steph eventually. It just can't be the Steph show. He'd be a good stagger guy if he could figure it out quickly. So I love him at 11. 12. This is just so OKC. First of all, that OKC has the number 12 overall pick. I mean, Presti's playing chess. Everyone else, forget checkers. They're freaking playing in their diaper. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Tell me Axel Lendeberg from Michigan is just not the perfect OKC guy. Just grindy, do whatever it takes to win. I'm hurt. I don't care. I'll jeopardize my future. I mean, just fits so well there. Oklahoma City gets Lendeberg, a guy I like, and I would love it if he slid to 15. I mean, if the Bulls stay at 9, do you kick him around? You think about it. You do think about it, but I don't know. That was 12. 13, Miami. Heat culture is in trouble. A lot of guys they can go here. I'm going Koa Pete from Arizona, and it's for this reason. He's just an athlete, and since they flipped to this up-tempo, go mentality this past season, kind of like the Bulls did 2 years ago, I think Koa Pete's probably the best fit for what they do. Gives him some length. He's got to work on his shot. He's got a lot of things to work on. But as far as an athlete, boom, athlete. Up-tempo, athlete. Charlotte, 14. This pick's controversial, and because Charlotte has 2 first-round picks, I think their next one is like 18 or 19, I want to say. Jaden Quantins from Kentucky. Look, 2 years ago, before he blew the knee out, this dude was swatting everything out of the sky. And I just think that's the last piece of the puzzle they need is just a not worried about scoring, just wants to protect that rim. I mean, they got the backcourt. Miller looks like he's legit. To me, that's the last piece. Could they go with this pick? Because I got the Bulls taking to 15. Yes. With their second pick of the top 15 picks, and at number 15, the Chicago Bulls at Amara, Michigan. Yes, they went big with Caleb Wilson, but I'm thinking Matt Lloyd could be the executive that's hired. Could be. And if you look at where he's coming from, Orlando, they like big, nasty, physical teams. Minnesota, Gobert, Cat before he got traded. McDaniel, I mean, you look at Nas, they like big, physical teams. Front court has to be big. 7-3 is pretty damn big. So all of a sudden you have Mara, you got Caleb Wilson, who I had them picking number 4 overall. You got Modest, you got Jalen Smith coming off the bench, which he's probably better suited for, or Mara comes off the bench. Just go big. It's the East. Just try taking it over with length. So, hey, I think if Bulls fans walked away, the lottery's on May 10th. I think if we walk out of June with going into free agency with Caleb Wilson and Ade Mara out of Michigan, national champion, 7'3", stocks. And look, he could jump into the top 10 once the workouts come. And, I mean, he's a big guy, but he could pass. He's just got a high IQ. He showed a lot in the NCAA championship tournament run, so he could easily be gone by then. That's my fantasy mock draft. Once the lottery is made official, like I said, on May 10th, happy Mother's Day, we will have a mock that is more realistic because we will know where teams pick. But I don't know. That's my gut. That's my feeling. I'm sticking with it. Bang. That's it. All right. God, what would that do to Bulls fans if they could come out of the draft with those 2 guys? Oh, it's a game changer. All right, Cowley Island. A little bit of a rant. I see a lot of people are all of a sudden discounting this idea that you don't want to recycle coaches. And I'm all for that. I hate the fact that the NBA is such a recycle coaching league. But you got people saying, I don't know, Cap has come out and said it. I said it. I think McGuff has said it too, the crime dog, when we all did the 3-Headed Monster podcast when Billy stepped down. Who's the best coach out there right now who's not working? I mean, there's possibilities. If it is Lloyd, I think Mika Nori is probably a shoo-in. But let's see. Well, he had a little run with Chicago, left as probably the second best coach in franchise history, 647 winning percentage. Then he went to Minnesota. They had, which is currently still the second longest playoff drought in NBA history of 13 seasons. He ended that by year 2. left there with a overall losing percentage of 475. But when you consider how dysfunctional that organization was and how bad it got after he left, if it was not for them hitting number one and getting Anthony Edwards, what would Minnesota be? They would be still a dumping ground. And then he went to a little place called the Big Apple, New York, the Knicks, a laughing stock for 25 years. 25 years since the Knicks last made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. He ended that drought. Three dysfunctional organizations, arguably with three dysfunctional ownership groups, and this man turned it around. So if Tom Thibodeau is recycling, give me that damn aluminum can. I will take that any day of the week that ends in Y. He is a culture setter for a program that is rebooting. Now, obviously, if it's Matt Lloyd, I think he's coming with his own coach. Obviously, I was at Minnesota's shoot-around last week to talk to Io. You can find that story at suntimes.com. Io was great. Talked about free agency, talked about wanting to be a star and show off star power on this big stage, which he has. That was before his 43-point game. He's been terrific for the Timberwolves. But the other person, the other chatter out of that Timberwolves camp is, if Matt Lloyd is the leader and going around the halfway point of this thing, because now that the in-face interviews have started, he comes with his ready-made coach, and then all bets are off. It won't be Tibbs. Anyone else should really sit down and talk to Tibbs. John Paxson has made amends with Tibbs. Michael Reinsdorf, Jerry Reinsdorf have made amends with Tibbs. Now, do I think it would happen? No, because I think Jerry Reinsdorf, as much as I've discussed this before, and his mentality of Steinbrenner and Billy Martin and how he got a kick out of that being in the headlines because he is a Brooklyn guy, a New York guy. If he didn't hire Ozzie Guillen for the White Sox job several times now, he's had that opportunity. He interviewed him once, but to me that almost felt like it was a token interview. But if that didn't happen, and Ozzie brought him a world championship, a World Series trophy, a thing he covets more than those 6 NBA championships, then it probably won't happen for Tibbs. But if you're talking about who's the best candidate out there, stop with the recycling stuff. It is Tom Thibodeau, hands down, would automatically change this culture and actually establish a culture for a young team that's in a reboot and send it forward. Would he get this thing across the finish line? I don't know. But he would definitely be the baton guy, one of the baton guys in this relay race. So if he's the finisher, he's the finisher. If not, so be it. It would be move this organization in the right direction. All right, let's get to the list. I mentioned the candidates for the executive job. 2 things to keep in mind. I'm going to list the four guys right now, and there could be 1 or 2 more. I reported that last couple weeks ago in the Sun-Times that there were mystery candidates. One of them has already emerged now. Dave Lewin from Boston, assistant GM, analytics guy. He has now kind of jumped in as one of the mystery candidates. There were 4 names reported by ESPN. I said there were up to 3 mystery candidates, and I still think there's a couple out there, but we'll see. So these 4 names, they are not opposed to doing some kind of unique build-out. Michael Reinsdorf made that very clear. So keep this in mind when we're talking about these hires. What could very well happen is one may be hired as the exec. The other is hired as a GM with more power. It's not a co thing because someone has to have the final say. But just keep that in mind that this could be a different looking front office than your typical, here's your VP executive, here's your general manager, this is the pecking order, and this one has final say over everything, and then this one is just his vice president, have you, or just your counsel, your consigliere, your right-hand man, the ring, the right hand of the ring, whatever you want to call it. However you want to label it. It might not work that way. It might work a little different. So, number 4, Bryson Graham, Atlanta. I got him as the number 4 guy right now. Look, Atlanta's done some good things this year. I think out of the other guys, he has the weakest resume. Okay. Number 3, Dennis Lindsey. Look, he helped make Utah a threat. He was an advisor for the Mavs when Luka took them to the promised land. I highly doubt he advised if they trade Luka. And then obviously he's with Detroit right now, and we know what Detroit did during the regular season. Don't love the look in the playoffs. I'm sure many Pistons fans don't, but I have him as number 3. He's been around for a long time, knows a lot of people. And remember, Paxton is an advisor in this. He does have a relationship with Paxton because they both were doing that job when he was in Utah. So they know each other. They've talked. Number 2, one of the mystery guys mentioned before, Dave Lewin from Boston, assistant GM, major analytics guy. I'm not a live and die by analytics. I think people that have watched this podcast before know that I consider analytics a tool, not the end all be all, like some nerds do. But have him number 2 because the guy I have number 1, Matt Lloyd. I met Casey Johnson, introduced me to Matt Lloyd years ago when he was in Orlando. The 2 major things that were atop Michael Reinsdorf's lists were a process-oriented guy, meaning a guy who has a plan. Arturas didn't have a plan, or is an ever-changing plan, I should say, and also the ultimate communicator. Matt Lloyd is the ultimate communicator. He is the guy on the love boat that tells you where all the fun is. He is a guy that's been through almost every department, so understands that, would make sure that every department runs smoothly. I mean, there were so many blind spots Arturas had to other departments. He didn't even know what they did, didn't even care. Matt Lloyd understands what a franchise should look like. I would say he has a slight lead in this race, slight, but don't be shocked if they love Lewin and they say, Matt Lloyd, what do you think about Dave Lewin? What would you think about making him your whatever? I don't even care about a damn title. Assistant VP, whatever they want to give it, or just general manager, VP of analytics. I mean, they can make up, the parking spots are going to be next to each other either way, folks. Who gives a damn? So don't just think that they're interviewing all these guys for one spot. This could be for multiple spots. They would just have to be in agreement with people, and guys would have to be willing to work with each other, which Michael Reinsdorf is not opposed to. They are not opposed to doing something unique with this hire. So that's my list. Lloyd, number 1, just because I think this dude he gets it. He gets the PR of things. He gets the player development of things. He gets the talent evaluation of things. And I don't think he feels like he goes to bed and has to be the smartest guy in the room. He will hire guys that are very smart around him, which I like about him. And he does have a very good relationship with John Paxton, which does help his cause because, like it, don't like it, fire Gar Pax, you're still stuck on that. Paxton does have a say in this thing. How much say, we'll find out. But so that's the list. Covered a lot of ground here. We got let's see, what did we do to the Bulls? We found him a coach, a new front office guy, a entire new front office and a way to think about it. And we got you Caleb Wilson and Ademara out of Michigan as your future front court players. That's a pretty damn good day, Bulls fans. And until next week, remember, I got next.